Black revolutionaries, distillery owners, Italian fashion retailers, and Motown Grammy winners all share their best stories never before told in any other media outlets on Detroit is Different. Visit DetroitisDifferent.com or download the Detroit is Different app on Apple's App Store or Google's Play Store.
Welcome back to the Detroit is Different podcast studios. And I have you in session with somebody, everybody's like, I know this person. I'm running into this brother at least maybe twice, possibly 3 times a month, depending upon how many days is in the month. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because making sure you got the right vitamins is a big part of like getting older. I'm on the other side of 40, meaning I hopped that fence, which doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot's changed, but enough has changed to know that, hey, it ain't like it used to be. So all the vitamins that I can get, I'm definitely doing. And then also, y'all see me with that big jug of water. I'm trying to go through 128 ounces a day. But so much of this all started after COVID-19 when it really jolted everybody's system. So me and a collection of so many other people started going to this place on 7 Mile. I'm talking about for real, West 7 Mile. Like, you can see the Southfield freeway and you can sort of kind of touch where Greenfield is. And in between there is a place that you'll see people walking in with these big jugs of water. You know where they walking? They walking to Moor Herbs. And Moor Herbs is a place supported by a couple, But I got Brother Bey here representing. Brother Bey, how you feeling today?
Oh, man, all is well, family. All is truly well. Yourself?
Oh, man, all is cool, man. All is cool. So, I got to give the Detroit is Different, throw the sauce on the introduction so people can contextualize this, man. So, like, on West 7 Mile, you got, like, all these black folks walking into this health food store where it's, like, packed more than, like, the most famous barbecue place you think of on 7 Mile sometimes, man, because people want that alkaline water. People want their vitamins, man. People want to make sure that they're tapping in and getting something healthy. And it's black-owned. It's black products. That's powerful, man.
Indeed. No doubt, family. Definitely an honor and a pleasure to be in the heart of the city, to serve our people, high quality products, a trusted brand that you can trust. We just living in times where we're taking more accountability and responsibility for our health. We're being more conscious aware. So definitely honored to be a part of that fight, that plight.
Yeah, definitely. So that definitely leads to the classic Detroit is Different start. You and your peoples. What's your Detroit story? Is this you first generation? You come here, your people was here. How deep do you connect to the city of Detroit?
I go back to my grandmothers on both sides, my mother's side and my father's side. So my grandmother on my mother's side was from Tuscumbia, Alabama.
Tuscumbia. Whereabouts is Tuscumbia, Alabama?
Tuscumbia is like northern Alabama. Shoal Springs, it's like right below Tennessee.
Okay.
So I heard stories of my grandma. She used to tell me back in the day, they had a little Irish in them.
Okay.
And everything. So my great-grandfather, her grandfather, passed as a European. They had mulatto on his record, so they'll be able to go to Tennessee and work on the trains and everything. But they didn't speak to each other throughout the day.
Yeah.
But at the night, they come back over those hills, back into Alabama, and they was with their people, their family. So it started with my grandmother coming up from Tuscumbia, Alabama. Her husband, he was looking for work, and he went to go visit an auntie in Detroit, Michigan. Ended up getting a job, and he sent for my grandmother to come up there. She didn't take the ticket, so he came down and grabbed her, his children, and brought them up here to Detroit. So that's how my grandmother on my mother's side got here to Detroit, coming out of Tuscumbia, Alabama. On my pops, mother was them, they was from Tennessee. Tennessee. So my grandmother on my father's side, they came by way of Tennessee, spread it out through Detroit, and some of them ventured off to Gary, Indiana as well.
I was gonna say because a lot of like the migration lines, even though you're going through Tennessee, a lot of the people from Tennessee usually go further west, like a Chicago. And for people that don't know, as far as I'm concerned, like you got a couple things in the Midwest going. You got Detroit has Flint, strange as it is. Flint got Saginaw. Chicago got Gary, Indiana. Cleveland has Akron, Ohio. Like these like smaller cousin cities where it's the same stuff happening, but it seems like maybe just like a step slower. But you got fam in Gary.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's a whole different story right there. But yeah, it's two sets of families. He had a family in Michigan. He had a family in
Oh,
Gary,
he
Indiana.
had a family in both because and then
Yeah.
the Jacksons and Gary, Indiana is like I say, for sure black culture and one of those post industrial locations, like almost like if you drive 94 to Chicago, you're looking at Gary like, what happened here? What happened is what was the design of it and bringing it back. And this is, I mean, we got love for everything here at Detroit is different and revitalizing it and coming and taking our own self-determined paths towards that. Hence, like Moor Herbs. So Tennessee, way up this way, and Alabama, way up this way. Whereabouts, what neighborhoods?
My grandmother, we call her Jube, so that's my grandmother on my mother's side. My grandmother, they came by way Russell. She moved. They was on Russell, like I think it was like 80 Russell.
Oh, so they were in Black Bottom, I'm guessing. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where they first moved to. From Russell, they moved right over here to Inverness, right where they, like right when they built the freeway to cut off Inverness from. What's that?
Like,
Lodge.
yeah, I was gonna say. So Inverness is one of those streets you gotta kind of like know people over there to know it because it's so short because it gets cut off by a freeway. Yeah, and I guess I did never thought pre-freeway, which a lot of that displacement is people talking about municipal harms that happen to people. Oftentimes people bring up Black Bottom, but so many other communities were broken through freeways being designed and roads and things being changed around. So from like Black Bottom to kind of closer to this neighborhood, and then your paternal grandmother, what neighborhood is there?
Yeah, they was what did they call? There's more so. Think I want to say. She was more so west. I think they was closer to like 8 Mile area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So within this, I guess that puts you with your parents. Where did you end up growing up?
Yep. So by that time, my grandmother on my mother's side moved east. So now we Davidson, 6 Mile Davidson area. So I did a lot of growing up 6 Mile Davidson area, Arlington. My father was more so 7 Mile area. So I had the best of both worlds, man, east and west.
So I got this question then, because right now, as people know, and this just is a curious Kari Frazier, Detroit is different mind. That area is like it kind of connects to Hamtramck's like right there, right? So so for people that have never been to Detroit, inside Detroit are two cities. You have Highland Park and Hamtramck. Hamtramck may be like one of the most diverse cities in America, like like the mix of Eastern European culture, and at one point in time, people just thought it was like a Polish community because it was such a strong Polish community. But now it's Bengali community, Pakistani community, Black community. Like it's a lot going on, like just cultural mixes in Hamtramck. When you were growing up and kind of oozing over to that 6 Mile Davidson area, East 6 Mile and Davidson. When you were growing up, was the diversity there when you were a kid, or was it something that kind of came after?
The diversity was there. It was there definitely. A lot of the, like you said, the Bengali, Desert Arab, the Polish, like right when you cross over the bridge, Joseph Campo Bridge. You got the Davidson Elementary School. So a lot of us that went to that school, you had that mix and mingle with the different cultures. and everything. So it was like when you first got into Hamtramck, you had that Polish, all the Polish stores, the Eastern European stores. But once you start getting into the heart of Hamtramck, you start seeing the Bengalis, the Yemenis, different cultures of that nature. So it's always been that way. We little knuckleheads go across the bridge, find little swings that we'll steal with the banana seat boats, take it back to the hood, put our spoke wheels on it and
Hey.
everything. So, yeah.
And that's where I also wanted to ask, within that whole like concept of it, I think it just opens up a lens to see things so different. So like even that area for people to know, like that community that I think of over there, I think of like Coney Gardens, and which is kind of a little bit further east, but that is the roots of some of the folks over there. Like they've been there. Some of those families have been there for generations. So your parents, what were your parents' work? What were they doing coming up when you were younger?
My mom, she, like I said, on the east side, graduated from Persian.
Okay.
She was a dope girl. My
Okay.
pops graduated from Mumford. He grew up 14th and, over there by Puritan.
Okay.
Log Cabin. He's 14th from Log Cabin. So he went to Mumford. So I think they they was working at Vernus. Yeah, I think that's where they met at,
Man, that's a
working at
Detroit
Vernus.
story if it ever was.
Yeah, so, but yeah, my pops, my mom had family, like I said, on Inverness Street or whatever, so she'd come visit over there. My pops was right around.
Right, not that far with the 14th in Puritan.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
So that's how they end up meeting each other, and that's how I came about.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, and but you remember most of your childhood kind of being in that 6 Mile Davidson area.
Correct.
Okay, and I guess coming up, so did you end up going to Persian as well?
Nope, I went west. I grew up, my mother actually was on drugs, so all praise to Allah for my father, stepping up and handling his responsibilities. I did a lot of my schooling on the west side. So I did a lot of my, still growing up, summertime, free time, weekends. I'd be over on my east side with my east side family, but throughout the week, I was mainly on the west side. I went to a lot of west side schools.
Okay, whereabouts?
Went to Dow Elementary. That was like at Pembroke and McIntyre. I think that was that. Middle school, Ludington, right up the street from the store.
Yep.
7 Mile, Edinburgh. And then I ended up graduating from one of the charter schools, Academy in Michigan.
Okay. All right. So like being in that mix of like same community growing, that provides you like a different view, I'm guessing, and lens of that community, because you've seen it from a child's perspective and now you see it from a grown man's perspective. I definitely will have questions about some of the transitions of the community and the business. But even before we get to that, after high school and getting on this journey of connecting with the Moorish brothers, connecting to consciousness and health, what drives you down that path?
Indeed. So I graduated high school 2002. So after that, made my way South Carolina. Went to college in South Carolina, Moorish College. Yeah, so beautiful experience. That's where the journey started. South Carolina, I graduated.
How did you even hear of the Moorish school, and who was the person that introduced the teachings to you? What connected to you about it?
Man, I gotta give props to my supervisor. I was living in Georgia at the time. This after I graduated college, so that journey of knowledge itself started roughly, I want to say about 2000, the end of 2010, going into 2011, and everything. I had a supervisor. He was from New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey. Name was Lamont. He had these tattoos on his arm. So, after working, we didn't build up a relationship. I'm sitting in the office with him one day, and I asked him, like, Mom, what your tattoos mean, man? And so he started telling me he had the Anubis and he had Horus on his arm. So he just started kicking it with me. And he was basically just, he was the one that flipped on that light switch, bro. He flipped on that light switch, and from that day, that path crossed that the Creator put into my life at that moment brought me to this journey to this day.
So before then, your path was just more so like, let's find some work, let's do something. You said college in South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So after high school, you go college, South Carolina.
Correct.
And more so college, you just looked at it like, this is going to help me get work, or what was your perspective?
Oh, man. College that was peer pressure. I had an older brother.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, not wanting to, disappoint, that peer pressure, having an older brother that then went to college and everything. So, I don't know. Being the first child from my mom, I wanted to make her proud. So I took the challenge. I went to college so so my mother family could have someone to say, we had somebody graduate from college. So I went to college to satisfy my parents.
I got you.
Yeah.
Did you, and there's a lot of students that do that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find anything in that journey fulfilling, like along that path, like classes that stood out, or just the whole idea? And then also South Carolina, whereabouts South Carolina?
Sumter. Sumter, South Carolina, like 30 minutes south of the Shaw Air Force Base.
Okay, and also hot as all get up. so,
Burning. That country heat ain't no joke.
Yeah, especially that South Carolina heat.
Man.
So, how did you make your adjustment there from Detroit? And because the culture is so different.
Big difference. 18 years in Detroit, and like they said, it's not where you from, it's where you at.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to do a lot of changing when I got down there, because being from Detroit, what you grimming me? You got an issue, you got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Down south, they stare.
Mm-hmm.
So I found myself getting agitated, and just tips on my shoulders and everything, but just understanding, how we raised and groomed here in the city compared to going south, where it's more they speaking to you every day. You saw me at Walmart, now you see me at so-called Piggly Wiggly, a little grocery store. You wave at me again. So it helped humble me in a way. I just needed to see that. I need to have that experience in my life. Like I said, just being here from Detroit and just having to grow up in a city and, dealing with the things that we face with in society, to go down south and just have to change the whole mental. It was monumental for me.
Okay. And that kind of puts you in a path where you stay south. You said you were in Georgia, so you go from Carolina to Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I got to get closer to black folks. I'm guessing Atlanta.
I was in Macon.
Okay, you were in Macon.
Georgia. Yeah,
okay.
About 45 minutes south of Atlanta. So that was a beautiful experience right there. When I moved to Georgia, I ended up starting doing child care counseling.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that was again another step, because during that opportunity, I worked with sexually abused boys, man, children 8 to 14.
Wow.
So just hearing stories that, I couldn't even imagine, so it helped me. And again, just that humbleness and building up skills, listening skills. Because in order for me to be able to assist these children or help these children, I had to listen, and develop that skill. We can hear, but many people don't know how to listen. So, just going through that, and again, just helped me, because now when I'm consulting, with my brothers and sisters, my customers and everything, I got to hear what they saying. I have to listen, so I can be of some type of service, so we can work together to get that ultimate goal.
Yeah, that's heavy. You take on like one of those roles that's real heavy. How long do you stay in that position?
I'm about my father's work. So it's a dream, man. I get my joy out of serving people, making others feel good. I'm a Pisces, so it's just in my nature to serve. So with Prophet Noble Jew Ali, coming with that uplifting, fallen humanity, it's like, how can I be an assistance to that?
Okay. So now I guess we connect back to the Lamont story.
Mm-hmm.
So he's giving you game, and you're talking about just enlightenment towards the path that you're on now.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So he introduces and some of this, I'm guessing, through books or teachings, or where does it hit where you pick up the baton and start really running with it yourself?
Oh man, you put me on this one DVD, man. It was Ray Hagen's Egypt Kemet, the source of the Bible, and it's just when I heard that the information, the confirmation, it took me back to that childhood or those questions that I had. But you know, you raised, don't you dare question God. You know, so to hear this brother speaking on these things that I once thought about in my childhood, like yo, you know, so I'm tuned in to the it's about 4 hour video. So I'm tuned in. I done looked over to the side. He sleep. He knocked out on the couch. But I'm just tuned in
Locked
like,
in.
yo, this it right here. You know, so it was Egypt, Kemet, the source of the Bible, Ray Hagen. Shout out to Ray Hagen's.
Yeah, I want to give a context to, because I have some Ray Hagen stuff too. So Ray Hagen's is a doctor, a pastor. The experience of an official anthropologist, I don't know if he is, but definitely he's teaching in comedic science. So I guess as as the Wakanda movie would say, a colonizer would call it an Egyptologist. but he's a very he has gathered a wealth of knowledge around the relationship between a couple of different things. Coptic Christianity, which is what's spoken to in a lot of ways, of saying like, well, Christianity started in Africa here and all of this stuff and what the Horn of Africa is. So like the idea of some of the things even happening to this day in what we label as the Middle East go back centuries. Ray Hagen speaks to a lot of this, and the delivery of it and the content is very much in a flow and a pattern to me of like the brother in the barbershop with a lot of wisdom and knowledge that's just kicking you game that's like and gaming information where it's very digestible and not so academic and theoretical, and it doesn't feel like a C-SPAN episode. Like he'll show a lot of pictures, he will show a lot of like and present a lot of where he's coming from with his story. So Ray Hagen's has done a lot of work. You can find him on YouTube and other works in it, and it also speaks to more of this framing, and I'm giving this long runway because I know you about to drop some gems of the role that a couple different things go. Naming, image, and likeness. Those three things that we talk about for those college football players and basketball players and to get paid nowadays, and swimmers and stuff like that, play such a role even when it comes to faith. And a lot of this goes into some of what's presented from Ray Hagen's, but it even goes into what you have probably seen presented from your mosque, your church, or your synagogue, wherever you worship. A lot of it kind of goes into a lot of these teachings overlapping into one another, even in some forms of a lot of Eastern philosophy that all align. So people will say, like, if all these teachings align, then what's what and how, and you got to go on your own journey to do that. But I wanted to give this brevity of the relationship between the Horn of Africa and what we now label as the Middle East. Kemet is aligned with what the people of that era would name this region, not Egypt or even the term Africa, because Africa is from Africanus, who was a colonizer directly. So just giving you that framework. So now that I've given that long runway, all right, you get into Ray Hagen's. That's like some heavy, that's something heavy to get into. A lot of people, especially like you grew up, black, praised, sanctified in the church. Well, boy, Ray Hagen's almost will be like toxic shock. You can't even listen to 2 minutes of Ray Hagen's, you know what I'm saying? So you're diving into this. What's your thought process? You say it's answering a lot of other questions. How are you receiving this information? And I know you're sharing it with other people, and they probably looking at you like, "Oh, my man is going crazy."
Oh yeah, It was the journey was it was good for me, bro. Tell you the truth, I was away from all immediate family, so I'm down here in Georgia. So I'm burning the midnight oils. I pledged Omega Psi Phi when I was in college, so I know how to stay up all night, and get the job done. So it was just, bro, it was a spark that I needed in my life to go. Here it is. I'm working down south. I got this 401k. I'm staying in this gated community, 9-foot ceilings, garden tub, out there staying with them, you know. But I woke up one morning, looked in the mirror, bro, and asked myself, like, who are you? I ain't have an answer for that person looking back at that reflection in that mirror. So that's where that journey started, and like I said, situations just start happening, doors start opening. I started meeting different people, like my supervisor, Lamont, putting that gym on me, Ray Hagan. So what we'll do every paycheck, we'll put $40 in together, and we'll go to blackhistorychannel.org. And that's where we purchase the DVDs. So we didn't get all the Ray Hagan DVDs. We'll make copies of the ones I pick. He'll make copies of the ones he picked. And so we'll switch off so we can have them all together. And then from there, I just started looking at different titles. And my introduction to Moor Science came by way of the good brother Tariq Bey. That's how I was introduced to Moor Science. And like I said, it's just looking on blackhistorychannel.org, looking at different titles and seeing what was just, catch my interest. And that's where it started at, fam.
All right, so another long history lesson from Kari Frazier here, and Brother Bey will definitely tag along with this. So, all right, so Moorish science. It's a lot of brothers that I think that identify, same as any faith, that identify and may not necessarily be the best orators and communicators of a lot within what's more science and what connects. But the first thing that I think a lot of people need to connect with who the Moors were and what the Moors represented. The Moors represented a culture. So when I say culture, meaning like a lifestyle, a belief system, and a society that under that had an immense governance over most of Northern Africa and probably like 3/4 of Europe for centuries. So when people speak about algebra, people speak about plumbing, engineering, most mathematics. This is all teachings from Moorish people into the whole concept of, like, if you read deep enough, and you'll see this, even like the whole concept of, if you see a brother with usually like the garb of like like flowing linens and a head wrapped, usually red or burgundy, with like a sword that you'd almost see like from like a sultan or something like this. This is the look of so many of the Moors that for generations were in connection between so many places and travel. I think a lot of those places are the places like, hence here, Ivan Van Sertima. They came before Columbus, meaning the black influence here. A lot of the navigational ships that, when you look at the conquistadors of Spaniards and stuff, most of the navigators are black people. These black people are Moors, as we know this through history, and it's uplifted. It's like, why are these black people on ships? Why do these black people know the languages of people in Brazil? or what we label now as Brazil, Colombia, Haiti,
Venezuela.
the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, off the coast of New York, up and down to Louisiana. How do these people know this? Because the science of the Moors as went very in depth, and this is one of the many big elephants in the room of world history that's never honored. And the teachings in the relationship between mathematics, science, and the way to live all kind of combined, creating the Moorish science temple. And that's how I know, but definitely not as in depth. I know from a historical lens, not from the practical lens. So as you're getting this knowledge, how are you introduced? You said Lamont gave you the game first, but then another brother really connected you to the temple.
Indeed, yeah. So, like I said, going through the Ray Hagan, Dearborn Blair, the Bobby Hemmett, the metaphysical science. I had the whole title on Bobby Hemmett in the beginning. I wasn't ready for that one yet. But Dearborn Blair, with the metaphysics, broke it down a little bit more basic for my understanding so I can go back to Bobby Hemmett when the time was ready. But it was Taj Tariq Bey, again, speaking to the Moorish history and everything. And I was just intrigued. It just set with my soul because growing up, I just didn't rock with the black or the African American. It didn't make sense to me then. I didn't have understanding that I have now. But like I said, coming to the information now to revisit those self reflections from the past or those younger years was like, I need to look into this.
And wait, let me add this. Oh, I forgot to say this in my long diatribe. The Moors are a group of black people, because I still identify as black in this, but let's say African people or people of color, not dominated by the Europeans. This is a time for centuries where that is taking place, to the point where even the running of the bulls right now that happens in Spain, it's the running of the bulls, but the running of the bulls is really a lot of the Europeans that came together to try to rid their society of the Moorish peoples in Spain, Italy, Portugal, well, I guess at the time I said Italy, Rome, and Greece, and all of the Mediterranean, and even a little bit further up, because that is the combination of where that goes. So if you study history, especially depending upon, I graduated 2001, you graduated 2002, a lot of the historical perspectives of black people is like, we're being oppressed, even our victories are through the lens of some form of tragedy. That is completely different when you start studying anything about Moors. My bad. I wanted to present that.
Indeed, no, definitely true. And that's one of our issues as a people, not understanding this foundation as a Moor. So like you said, in the West, the Moors had the science and the temples in Americas. That's where your Moorish Science Temple of America come from. So Prophet Noble Jew Ali being the one to bring us that message, all people are sent prophets. Prophets are sent to the people so the people can stop being a prophet made off of, So in our conditions over here, the issue was recognition. We were disconnected from that, the families, the human race. So Prophet Noble Jew Ali had to come back and bring us that divine revelation as to who we are, because it kept us in a state of sin, separation in nature. What separated us from our nature? These names that diluted from slavery, black, Negro, colored, African American. All of these are adjectives, but what is the origin of the black man? Where do he come from? Who do he descend from? So those was the questions that started triggering my curiosity. So when we Prophet Noble Drew Ali, he brought Moorish, when we get into the suffix ish, of or relating to, so this whole Western Hemisphere, one thing that history don't talk about is those ancient families. You don't hear about the Canaanites. You don't hear about the Moabites. You don't hear about the Amorites, the Israelites. These lost tribes are still here. We just going by different names now. We black in America, North America. We Mexican in Mexico, Brazilian, Haitian, Jamaican, Puerto Rican, Boricua. All of these are Moors. Those colossal heads that they found in Mesopotamia, Mexico, the Olmec heads, they got fezzes on, So in ancient times, North America, or what we call in America, is the land of Moab. Moses received those divine laws at Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai is Philadelphia. That's why that Liberty Bell is there and never to be removed. That's a beacon map for us native Hebrews in the West, because that Hebrew law encompasses the whole planet. And so when we go into the divine revelations like Leviticus 25:10, so it's like I said, we just got disconnected from that history, so we don't know how to connect back to it, to connect the dots.
So taking on the teachings in the past, I'm guessing this has a lot of effects even on how you see and interpret so much in the world now. Hence the journey in health. So what immediate changes are you beginning to make going on this path?
Man, like I said, just coming to a lot of the information, it's like the initial move is anger. You mad, like you've been believing a lie your whole life. It's just like when you find out Santa Claus ain't real. You know what I mean? When you're young and you've been believing that lie, it hurts. So to, come into that information, it's like you want to tell everybody, but ain't nobody trying to hear that.
Yeah.
So like I said, dealing with that, so it changed my perspective, because at the end of the day, I couldn't worry about everybody else. I had to focus on me. So I'm like, why am I getting mad? Why am I angry? And Revelation, diet. So I started to change my diet lifestyle when I was in Georgia. Yeah, so this was about 2010, 2011. I came into Dr. Sabi, coming into that information. So now I'm changing my diet, and I'm seeing the anger and everything else leave out. And now I can have more casual conversations. I'm not bothered because the individual, not receiving it. It's like if you go out in that garden and you drop that seed, that strawberry ain't going to pop up tomorrow. So understanding these concepts are helping me, along with that counseling, having that training, working with children, gave me those abilities or those skills to listen. And then, like I said, just try to help connect the dots. If I can plant that seed, plant that seed. But I can't. I'm not in the business of conversion,
Okay. All right. So with that, in this same journey, you meet. I don't know what brings you back. How do you end up back in the city? What was the path, and why?
Yeah. All right. So my grandmother on my mother's side, she made her transition back to the spirit plane. So this was 2010, 2011. So came back up for the funeral and everything. And at the time, the child care work I was doing down south in Georgia, the owners was into some dispute, So I basically came back up here. I was up here for a couple of weeks, went back down, and then the funeral home, they was cool because they held my grandmother's physical body for a couple of weeks. So I was able to go back down south, do some stuff, and come back up for the funeral. So it was just that time, like I said, 2002.
And I was gonna say, you come back to a different Detroit. Like for people that move, like when you visit, it's different than living.
Right.
And you come back to like right as bankruptcy is coming in Detroit, like really in the middle of that, and just a whole different feel. Like, what was your perspective on the city coming back then?
Oh, man. Like I said, 6 Mile and Davidson. Growing up, I remember, like, the drugs was heavy. I'm 84, so growing up in the 90s, that's all we saw. A lot of my family on my mother's side had got caught up in that life and just couldn't get that demon off their back and everything. So, but you still had the family orientation. The drugs was there, but, you still had homes on the block. So like I said, now I'm gone from 2002 to 2010 to come back to see the vacant lots and, just the rate that the neighborhoods are in. It's like, man, we got to do something. So I look at it as I had my 9 years down south to get myself together to come back to do the tasks that I had to do here in Detroit.
Okay. All right. So now you're here, you're back, and what's the thought process of work? Are you looking to get back into that form of counseling? What's the thought process?
Gathering everything, I've been away from the family, so they just seen the little post on Facebook, the little information I'll speak to, so it's new to everybody, so everybody's still walking on eggshells. They don't know what to say to me or what to talk about, but, I'm kicking it. I'm in the hood. I'm all white, kicking it with my people, educating them, talking about the importance of our history, changing our diet and everything, but coming back, I was blessed to come and crossroads with Dr. Kiefer at the water station. She was the owner of the water station. So if you was talking about alkaline water in the city of Detroit, she's the progenitor of it. So just having that opportunity to work under her, I learned so much from her, from the business aspect and everything. So
let me get the context of the water station too. One of those, as you say, one of those key staples of Detroit culture, is Highland Park adjacent though, but right on Woodward. And so many people, when I think of like when I first heard of people saying I'm going alkaline diets and alkaline water, the water station is high up in the whole concept of where to go, and it's just like Moor Herbs. It's really in a neighborhood, like it's street stuff that happens over there. People, residents that live above street as well, but it's still in a community. It's not like way out in a plaza or something like that where, nothing's around. It's like, nah, this is really feeding into the people. And you took working there, I'm guessing that would make sense, like as a blueprint of what else could be done.
Definitely. One of the things that stood out to me in the little interview with Dr. Kiefer, she asked the question, she said, are you looking for employment or opportunity? I never had been asked that question before in the interview. Opportunity. She said, that's the best answer. And it was how I got the job. It was just, everything was just divine, bro. Everything was in divine order. I was supposed to have been going back down to Georgia to finish the child care counseling, but here it is. I'm in Detroit. I got this opportunity being presented to me in the health and wellness arena, something that I want to do now. So I took that opportunity, and that's what kept me here.
All right. So how long there before Moor Herbs, and how does that connect? And then how you meet your queen? Yeah. Your wife definitely played such a role in so much of this work.
So 2013, I meet Dr. Kiefer. She was just opening up her Sankofa Center. And that's around the time she brought me on to her team. So I was with Dr. Kiefer off and on till about 2015, up until when she made her transition. She was just about to start her deli department. So that's where Maria come in at. And so she asked me to ask Maria could she run her deli department for her. At the time, Maria was doing this, renting out the kitchen right there on the corner, Psychedelic Healing Shack. That's where we actually met at.
Dr. Bob, another person
Yeah.
connected to a lot of stuff. So Dr. Bob is another figure that, you know, how I know Dr. Bob is a lot of people that struggle with different forms of addiction, whether that be to sugar or whether that be to an opioid or something like that. Like some of his work is what I guess we would label as unconventional, quote unquote, meaning like it's not inside of an American hospital per se. Does a lot of work in that, but a lot of other things. But I'm just telling you how I kind of know and connect to Dr. Bob's work. And right there next to the water station, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, so Dr. Kiefer, she make her transition. Nobody's speaking about her idea as far as the deli and everything. So that's when I just like, look, you cook, I know about the water, I do the herbs. You gotta go here to get your water, you gotta go there to get this, you gotta go there to get this. I said, we can just bring everything one-stop shop. So it's funny because I was actually, when I was living in Georgia, I was speaking my reality into existence.
Wow.
You know, when I was down in Georgia, and they can confirm, I was, like I said, the South 18 years behind anyway. So, I was coming
Somebody from
into
Atlanta that just threw a water bottle at the screen. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So, I mean, just they gonna eat their deer meat. They gonna get out there. They gonna barbecue. They gonna have a good time. So like I said, just to be in the heart of that, and then it's like you practicing vegan. Alkaline umbrella. There wasn't no vegan then. When I came into Dr. Sabi, he spoke about the alkaline umbrella. You have fruitarian, vegetarian, raw foodist, juicing. You know what I mean? So I got the alkaline understanding from that perspective.
Yeah.
Simple, basic, that helped me out a lot. Fruitarian, majority of the way solid foods they eat, fruit. Vegetarian, majority of the foods they eat, vegetable. So when I started to understand that concept, it started to help me, even with my diet, with that concept. So fast forward, 2016, my first son born.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. June 13th, 2016. So Moor Herbs, we online. I started Moor Herbs. I was in my cousin's basement at the time, and I was just on Facebook, like do it yourself, like take these 3 herbs and mix them together, help remove mucus out your body. I had my little notebook, some capsules, I had cayenne, fenugreek, and mullein leaf. I had those 3 herbs. I started getting inboxes. Like, do you offer this? And I'm like, yeah. All right, how much? So everything is just coming into formation now. Like, yeah, all right, yeah, Moor Herbs. That's where the name came from. And then Revelation just came, like Revelations 22:2. I never read the verse, but I went back and checked out the verse. And the leaves of the tree should be for the healing of the nation. So all that became the brand, Moor Herbs, Revelations 22:2. And I came up with high science formula.
And this, so that connection as you talk about, like Maria is there and you all are connecting and then just working. What was the rhythm like finding someone like on path in alignment with so much of what you already envisioned?
So at the time, like I said, she was into the food and everything. She cured herself of diabetes by changing her diet. Like this, probably about 2012. I want to say probably somewhere around that time. So she got me about 7 years per se too. So like I said, she was already into making her own products, health and beauty products. She was already into cooking plant-based foods and everything. And the food was delicious. So I'm like, yo, we got to introduce you to the city. Like, your food
Okay.
is good, you know. So that's how it came about, man. Just, I don't know. I put the vision into her. She brought the form, the order, and the structure to it. And
then that connection.
Yep.
All right, so now, kid and everything, you're online. How you end up on 7 Mile?
So we was going to visit her mom. So it's like my son is here now, and I'm working at Hollinsworth, you know, Schaefer,
Yeah.
Dearborn logistics company. So it's like I'm like, yo, we got to do something. Something got to shake, you know, because like I said, my vision of what I was speaking prior to of homeschooling my children, you know, just coming into the information that I was coming into, it's like I'm not about to sit up here and put my children into the school system, and I understand now, you know what I mean, the totality of it. So I have to create something so I can do the things that I need to do so I can live my dream, you know. So it was just, like I said, amazing grace, bro. Everything just fell in line. We went around, we looked at some buildings. We looked at a building right there, Greenfield, off of 7 Mile, going towards the outer driveway. That's the first one we saw. I'm like, it was cool, but, you know, it's just, I'm like, nah, this ain't that feeling. You know, he was like, well, I got another building I can show you right up here on 7 Mile. So we get in the car, we come up 7 Mile of St. Mary's. Walk in, show me. As soon as I walked in there, I knew that was the place, bro. So I'm walking down, and as soon as I seen the 2 glass windows, I'm like, this is it. Because, like I said, being under Dr. Kiefer's vision, it was, like I said, I learned a lot, you know, from how she had it set up. The customers able to see what's going on, you know what I mean? So just to have those 2 windows right there, the vision was just, it was just coming. I'm like, okay, this is the kitchen area right here. We had the water ionizers right here. The customers can see. So it was just divine, bro.
All right, now you guys have been in business for some time now, which I tip my hat, and definitely one of those businesses that survived COVID. You had a business that actually during COVID, I'm guessing, welcomed on a lot more business because of what it means and the role you all are serving. What have been, I mean, you're offering vitamins, you're offering alkaline water, you're offering food. What stands out? What are some of the things that that people take to? But I guess even before we get to that, when you opened for the first time, how did the community respond to it? Because that's the other thing. This is a health food store, but it's like real Detroiters going in there. It's like street dudes and like, you know what I'm saying? It's just everyday working people. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's in your store. It's not like a health store where it feels like the health store audience would be in there. And there's no offense to like the places like, this comes to mind and I like this store, like the Natural Patch. The Natural Patch has people that you think would be in the Natural Patch. Your store, Moor Herbs, you know, it's the hood in there, and I love that about that.
Oh, yeah, the hood and many others, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but it's still we
culture.
in there, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, and everyone else too, but still, anything that's in our community that we connect and we serve, I mean, and we connect with that's helping, that's rare, and I love it.
Yeah.
How was the grand opening? How do people take to it, like during that first month, that month or two?
It was beautiful, man. Like I said, it started off slow, you know. It's I started off. I think I had about close to 5,000 friends on my Facebook page and everything. So you know, used that to promote. So it was just it was a beautiful thing. Family supported, you know. Started off small, you know. I remember little batch out days, maybe $300, you know, just excited, just you know, get that,
Get
you
something
know.
going, yeah.
You know, so you know, most people talk about small business and how they first 3 years is just tough, you know. But it's like with ours, it's like we just always found ourselves constantly expanding and growing and developing. So the more we was heard about, you know, more people came in. It sent me to the drawing board to come up with more formulas and things of this nature. So from starting off with about 6, 7 formulas initially to now having close to 80 formulas. Like, you know, I top my hats off to our people for stepping up and, you know, just taking accountability, you know, for our health. You know, like you said, it's many different people coming in, at young, old.
Yeah.
You know, so just to see that and see that we are trusting each other, that's the thing.
Yeah, it definitely. Because I know I was there like all the time. My homie Dewan was like, hey, you need to go to this vitamin shop. I was like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to keep going here.
Right.
And shout out Witten. That's my brother in arms for most people that know. So what sells? What are the things that what's the vitamins and the herbs that people are coming to and connecting to? First off, alkaline water is on deck because of y'all. So like that's a known. But
Indeed.
outside of that, what herbs are people clamoring for?
The top selling thing is most of I say sea moss and bladderwrack, the burdock formula, just because of the information. And like I said, it's good because like I said, now we in that time where information is at the click of a button. So like the more our people is informed, you know, the business is service, you know. So I'm here to serve. So as long as my people making that conscious effort to help save themselves, like Moor Herbs is gonna be here. I'm like Johnson and Johnson. That's what I want. I want to be a brand name that our people can trust and everything. So sea moss and bladderwrack, the sea moss gel. We making sea moss gel like every week. You know, every week we probably making sea moss gel 2 to 3 times out the week.
So now I guess I gotta ask Taster's Choice. What are the vitamins that you take, like every other day or daily, or what's the cycles you on usually?
I'm also deal with the minerals, bro. So every day I'm colloidal copper, zinc, chlorophyll, you know, magnesium. What else I'm taking daily? Now for my energy levels and things of that nature, like I said, I do the chlorophyll. I do a lot of my cleansing, detoxifying moments throughout the night. I like to cleanse, you know, throughout the night while the body in a rest state. What else I'm on right now? 7 mushroom blend for cognitive health.
Yeah, I remember you were telling me about that. I tried that. So like it's like they call those like a nootropic, like neuroscience of just triggering different receptors in the brain. Yeah, I like the feel of it. And let me be honest with a lot of this stuff, at least with my body. And I would imagine even with a prescription pill or whatever, like it's not like you're gonna take the vitamin and it's you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna turn into the Incredible Hulk like overnight. Like your body has to adjust to a lot of it and being ready and prepared for it. But I'm speaking on my behalf. What would you suggest for like the person that's like more so in a condition of a lot of processed foods, that hasn't really taken to vitamins? How should they even prepare themselves before getting ready to take on a lot of these minerals, taking on like some vitamins so that for best effect?
The mental aspect, that's one thing that in a westernized medicine that they don't deal with, the actual self. You know, as in our East, they incorporate the self. They deal with the self. So mentally preparing ourselves to make the change, because again, we creatures of habits. You know, we've been
True.
conditioned. You know, just imagine trying to take this person that's on drugs and tell them like, come on, you know, Pookie from New Jack City. You know,
Yeah.
that mental aspect got to be there. You know, so how do we culture or foster that? Is the knowledge, you know, make yourself aware, understand your why you making these changes. Once I think we understand the why, it's easier for us to, you know, do that transition, you know. It's a test.
Okay. All right. All right. So with that, as we get closer to the end of everything, before I get to the last questions, what should people know about Moor Herbs now? What's pitching? I know summer hours are up that you let us know, and you know that they can get that info. But what's something new or something that we need to be in mind of as we prepare for summer?
All right, got some big changes and updates coming in, so ready to grow and expand the business again. So, got some updates. Got some. I want it to be more so of a surprise.
Okay, well, don't
Yeah,
sweat it.
but
Then.
yeah,
Don't sweat
so-
it. So just stay tuned for things May, June, July, where?
Early, we looking at May, June.
Okay.
May, June.
Okay, so May, June, stay tuned. And you may definitely bump into me in Moor Herbs. I'm telling you, I'm in there. And so now, classic Detroit is different questions. Classic Detroit is different questions.
No doubt.
All right. Very first car, year, make, and model, and year you got it.
I had a hand-me-down. I think it was like a 1984 Nova.
Oh, man, you got a Nova. A Chevy Nova. Okay.
Yeah, I had the little box one, the little red one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4-door Nova. That's what I had. And then,
Okay. Where was the first place you went when you got it?
Probably over my cousin's house, bro. Just
Okay.
happy to get the car and be driving.
Hanging out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How long you keep it? Cause 84 Nova, man, you
Yeah.
may have, I don't know. Let's see.
It wasn't that long, cause it
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know how much
didn't
life
even-
it had.
Yeah, from that, I think it wasn't that long. After that, I had like a neon. Yeah.
All right. You're the DJ at the end of the fireworks. Woodward and Jefferson. You get to play 2 songs. What 2 songs you playing?
It's funny you said that. One song I'm thinking about right now is "Summertime." Will Smith.
Okay.
Will Smith, "Summertime," and I don't know. I like J. Cole, man. I thought some J. Cole on some Fabulous. We'll say Fabulous. Fabulous. What's Paradise? Fabulous Paradise.
Okay. All right. And last question: if you could rename Woodward after one Detroiter, who would it be and why?
Me.
Okay.
Yeah. Why? Because I'm about my legacy this time around. So, like I said, I'm gonna do good things for my people, serve my people, show my people I'm about my community, and have that honor.
Most definitely. Brother Bey,
Yes,
thank you so much for this. Detroit is different.
Thank you, family.
Once again, like y'all know, y'all go on a journey. Usually I'm talking so much about Detroit. Y'all got so much to be, like when people say, Kari, all this information. I got a lot of information in my head, and
Yes,
you allowed through this interview a platform to really share a lot about the relationship between our people and the world itself, but especially what we now know as Northern Africa and the Mediterranean. So thank you so much.
Appreciate you, family. Indeed.
All right, peace.
Thanks.
Detroit is Different is where you get information, artistry, history, music, and even comedy. Detroit is Different, a home for the culture of Detroit. Visit online at DetroitisDifferent.com today.